Hello, I'm Helen at Pompom Ohmm, here to show you another video of one of the wreaths that we are starting to create. So this one's more one for the kids, really. It's going to be a do not disturb door sign, and it's going to be monster themed. Right, so basically if you have a look down here, we have got just a simple paper plate laminated on one side, paper on the other. Very simple, easy to pick up. We have also got our forest green. It's not coming up very well on there. It's a bit brighter than it's showing on the video. We've also got our massive googly eyes. Okay. I've also picked up, these are just party favours actually from Asda. And we're going to add these on mostly because it'll make it a bit more interactive. They actually bounce up and down. So we're going to try and attach those so that they actually bounce when the child goes to their bedroom. We've also obviously got a wreath ring, which is circular at the moment, but I'm going to show you a trick with that now. And I've also, the last bit we've got lots to go on this really. I've got a load of pastel coloured buttons. They're going to go on to pretend they're spots on our monster. And then also we've got these letters. I'm using the multicoloured ones because I think it'd be most interesting on a kid's bedroom wall. So right, before we start, I wanted to show you this. So this is just your basic 8-inch, I think this one is, possibly 10 inches. I'll double check that for you and put it in the notes. It's a circle. We want a oblong so that we can do a door plaque. Instead of buying more, you don't need to. You just take this circular ring and you're just going to gently push it in. Okay, and as you push it in, you're pushing out the sides and in the middle, and you are creating a fairly decent oblong shape. Okay, you can tweak that as much as you need to. You can make it square at the sides, whatever you want to do with it really. It'll bend. And again, you can do the same with the outside as well. So now we have our oval. We are going to go from there. So very first thing that we need to do is to start attaching our poms. I'm going to use our large forest green poms because they're quite vibrant. It's not so good on the camera, but in real life they are really quite vibrant, and we're going to attach those all the way around using a series of knots. Sorry for that. The wall makes my nose really itchy. So anyway, we put the camera down so that you can just see my hands and nothing else. Right, so it's going to go on the top there, but you are, for now, going to place it underneath your wreath ring. Now, I like to do our wreaths without the need of a glue gun to attach the actual poms. We are going to be using a glue gun in this creation because we're going to use a glue gun to attach all of the embellishments that we're going to put on. So this is one for the kids. I would suggest if you're ordering this as a make-at-home kit, an adult will need to do the sticking on of the embellishments because we don't supply any glue with our kits because the tying on doesn't require any, but we do suggest you stick on the embellishments, whether they come with a peel backing or not, just best to stick them on. And we recommend a hot melt glue gun. You can use a cold melt glue gun, but the hot melt is better for this. Or we recommend an all-purpose super glue, so not ideal for kids. So this is maybe one for the adults to make for the kids, or even just help them with the sticking on stage. So yes, as you can see there, look, it's quite difficult to see, but I'm actually taking my string outside of the wreath completely. Then I'm going inside the wire there and I'm coming back out. So I've created this loop around the wire. And I do exactly the same on the other side. So I come inside of the wire and I come outside of the wire. The reason for doing that is that it anchors your pom in the middle of your 2 wires. If you were doing one where you were having 2 lines, then you would anchor them 1 to each wire. But when you're doing a single row, you're better to anchor them to both sides of the wire. So once you've done that, you're then going to pull across. You're just going to do a simple knot, a reef knot for any of those who did first aid, and then you're going to go back the other way. You're going to make your knot as tight as possible. Always do 2, so that it doesn't come undone. Okay, we are going to actually anchor these into place, not with wool like I normally would, but with glue, just because we are going to be gluing them anyway. So just keep going round. I'll show you again. So you're going outside of your wreath, then take both inside your wreath. When I say inside your wreath, I mean between the 2 wires. You've created loops now, and you're just going to then tie it off. When you're tying it off, make sure that you keep a finger on it to keep it tight, because your knot will only be as tight as the second knot that you tie. Okay, so you're going to carry on going round here. This looks very dark on the camera, but it's, there we go, it's a bit more like there. It's not, it is quite a bright forest green. So we're going to keep going round with our poms. So again, outside, in through the wires, pull it tight, and again tie it, hold it, and tie it again. Okay, keep going round. I like when I get to an upright in the wreath, so this is what I'm calling an upright, I like to go either side of it, okay, because it just means that that pom then can't move off that line. So you're going to go out one side of it, out the other, and then you're going to do your usual. You're going to go outside of the wreath, you're going to go in through it and create a loop, and you're going to go in through it that side and create a loop, and then just same as you have been doing, 1 knot, hold it tight, 2 knots. Okay, so keep going. Just going to keep going right round with these. This is always the first step of the wreath, really, is getting your poms on, because until you've got your poms on, you can't really add anything to them. Okay, so again, inside, outside, create a loop, inside, outside, create a loop, and then tie them. Okay, and again, this is just shy of that strut, so I'm going to put them both to the left of it. So again, round and create a loop, and round and create a loop. Again, tie them off, keep it tight, do the next one. Okay, I think we're going to end up with about 10 or 11 poms on this. We're kind of playing it a bit by ear because we haven't done many of the oval shaped yet. So we're just trying to find kind of the right number, really. But once we've done it a few times, we'll definitely know, and we can pass that information on. So again, round and round, first knot, second knot, and I've got 2 more poms, so that's going to be a total of 10. We are going for 10, I believe. Hang on, 3, 6, 9, 10. We're going for 11 actually. It's 11, I think. I'm totally miscounting. Yeah, we'll count once I've got them on. Not my strongest point, counting. Which, you know, it's worrying really when I'm telling you we're going to have 12 on there. Right, we're just going to tie that one off. Right, we are now at our last pom. Okay, so quite quick. It doesn't take a huge amount of time. I believe that's taken about 10 minutes. Okay, again, inside, outside, inside, outside. and tie it into place. Right, okay, I'll just pick that up quickly to show you where we are at so far. So far this is what we've got. Okay, it's just a basic oval wreath of poms. Doesn't look like much yet, but it will. Before you move on though, we don't tend to, with our wreaths, cut off the ends straight away. This is because if it ever came undone, you could reattach it. You've got a nice length of wool there, then you can actually do something with. So all we do is, again, tie a reef knot, so two double knots, and then we carefully, with quite sharp scissors, so if you're doing this with children, I would suggest that you use more sensible scissors, or cut it, whichever, how much you want to do for them, really. So just work your way around, tying it off, cutting it off, and just keep going. Obviously you've got 2 strings there, so what you could choose to do is tie one to the left and tie one to the right, because you've actually got, so there we go, look, if we do it there, we're just going to tie off to the left. And this will actually help anchor your poms into place. But with us doing this one with glue, it's not really necessary. You can just literally take both strings and tie them to the couple next to it. Because all you're trying to do is keep those ends both neat and not cut off straight next to the pom, so that you've got that little bit more wool. So yeah, so we're going to just keep working our way around. Okay. We're nearly there now. So we've now got okay, so the front of our wreath hasn't really changed at all. We've got a bit of an extra different colour green there, so I'll just get that out. Okay, so our front of our wreath hasn't really changed. However, the back, there's no straggly bits. You can still see the copper. You're going to with these, really. But of course, they're going against the door. You're not going to see the back. That doesn't mean it shouldn't be neat with knots and everything, but we can forgive ourselves for seeing a bit of the copper. Okay. Okay, so I tend to just give them a quick fluff. From here now, this is where normally we would secure them into place with just knots, because we don't like to use a glue gun when we don't need to. But because we are putting a plate in the middle with the main intention of being able to stick our eyes on, we aren't going to worry too much about that, because we are going to be using glue anyway. So all I'm actually doing there, look, is placing the plate in the middle and trying to choose the best place for it to go. You basically don't want to see much of the plate edge as much as you can, because what you're aiming for really is just the green for the monster's face. Okay, and obviously we are actually going to pull our poms in slightly on this one so that you don't see any of that edge of the plate. Okay, so obviously place it, I would suggest you place it on, make sure you've got it where you would like it to be. I'd then say flip it, and at this point try not to move your plate too much. I'm going to just make sure that our glue gun that's hiding in my drawer is heating up. Okay, and whilst we're waiting for that to heat up, as I said, these were just these were actually in a I picked stuff up from everywhere. These were actually party favours from Asda, but you can pick up bits all over the place, really. As I said, we're going to sort of part tie them, part stick them into place so that they can still be pulled gently by the person who's opening their room. Okay, as I said, we're just letting that glue gun heat up there. Okay. Generally, all of the embellishments that we offer to add onto your wreaths are just stuff that we've picked up here, there and everywhere. I'm like a magpie. I will literally pick up anything that I think is going to work on these wreaths. And you can do the same if you're making this wreath as a kit you've got off us, or if you're just having a go yourself. Just pick things up wherever you see them, really. I was going to say, I've picked up obviously these letters of the different colours. You can pick them up in sets. I think those were around £4 for the set of quite a few letters, actually. I think there's about 4 or 5 of each letter in that set, so that's not too bad. So just pick things up as you see them. Obviously, this is available to order as a kit from us, or it's available to order ready-made from us. Just whatever you fancy, really. Right, I'm very impatient with a glue gun, so we'll just see how we go. So all I'm going to do here, see, very impatient, it's barely heated. I am literally putting glue directly onto the wool of the wreath, and I'm dropping the plate down onto it. Now, I'm going to go the whole way round, but I'm not going to waste my glue on doing it as an endless seam. I'm just going to do about a 5cm glue line. You do not need to be precise, at intermittent intervals around the plate till you've got the whole thing secure. Okay, you don't need to just do it all blind like I am. You can stop partway through. Careful you don't catch yourself and burn yourself, but check that you've got your plate in the right place. Obviously, we are going to be sticking the poms on the inside too, so you can hide any like misdemeanors. So just keep working your way round the plate. If you've got a tiny mini glue gun like me, you will need to keep loading it up with glue. Okay, so we just gently keep lifting that plate. You can see why this is maybe not ideal as a young kid's craft, because there is that hot glue gun, which isn't going to be ideal for youngsters burning themselves on hot glue, because it does rather hurt. When we're sticking on embellishments, we actually can, and I do quite often, use the end of a pair of scissors or something just to push it down properly, so that it's so I'm not touching it with my hands really, and allowing myself to get burnt. So let's just keep putting that plate, sticking it directly onto the wool until we've got back round to where we started. So that is basically now back to where we started. When you're using a glue gun, you always end up with these spidery bits. It can be quite unforgiving on the wool, so just pull them off afterwards. So that's our plate in the middle now, which is bright green. And then we've got our poms. Now, if you are not happy because you can see bits of the edge of the plate, you can by all means put a bit of glue on the inside, stick them down in. I don't particularly mind. I think that actually looks quite nice, slightly away from the plate. So basically now we've got our giant eyes that we are going to try and glue directly into the middle of our plate, so it looks like it's looking at us. Okay. I was going to give this teeth, but I'm thinking I might actually give it a giant nose, but I haven't decided yet, so we'll see. So you can glue the back of these and then stick them down. Depends on how much you want to risk your fingers. I mean, I'm going to just try and go for it without injuring myself. I'm going to try and get mine like directly next to each other if I can. If it doesn't work out that way, this is a monster, so it's not really the end of the world. Right, so let's have a quick look and see where we're at now. So we've gone for 2 eyes. They're sort of in the middle, not quite. But again, it's a monster, so it's fine. I think now might be the right time to try and add these little fellows. Okay, so I'm sort of thinking that we are going to put them where the little ones can actually pull them down. Okay, so I'm thinking probably about there. They can pull them down from the bottom. All I did there, I'll show you with the next one. All I did there was take the loop that is handily on these, make sure the eyes are facing you, and then I just went around our pom that we already have in place, and I just literally looped it on and made sure that that loop doesn't get stuck part way, that it goes all the way to the back. Okay, and there we go, it's hanging off, looking rather creepy. I've got 4 of these guys. I think I might actually only put 3 on. So I've gone for like the middle-ish pom and 1 either side. So again, make sure the eyes are out facing you. And on. It goes right round that pom. Okay, so yeah, that's what we got. Actually, do you know what? There's 4 poms along the bottom. I'm going to go for all 4 of these fellows. So yeah, I think they're an entire £1, so it doesn't matter, does it? Let's stick them all on. Okay, so we've now got 4 little monsters hanging off the bottom of our creation. Okay, now we want them to be able to pull them ever so slightly, but we don't want them to pull them off. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to turn it over, and then now this is the bit where we decide if this is gonna work for us or not. So we could try and get them through to create like a double loop, but I don't think I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do here is grab some extra wool that I'm actually just going to use the bits that I've chopped off before. Grab some extra wool. I'm just going to take it round the string of the alien where I'd like it to, because I don't want to hang too far down, so where I'd like it to sort of hang from. Take it round, tie a double knot there, and then I'm just going to take it straight under our wreath ring, because you can still see the copper of one half of it, and again I'm going to tie another double knot there. Okay, so that now means that our little monstery thing is hanging a bit closer, but it actually still can be pulled. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same with all of our monsters, and at this point, whilst we're tying them off, we're making sure they're facing forwards as well. Okay, so again, part way down the little monstery thing, part way down its string where we don't want it to hang too much lower than it, we're going to tie off our knot. Okay, and then we're going to find a place to thread it through past our wreath. There we go. And then just tie another knot. Now, if you have found the same wool that you have been, we will have sent you a bit of extra wool if you're doing this as a kit, so you can use that to tie off these extra bits. I'm being a little bit lazy and not finding the wool, so I'm just using the cut-offs that we already had. So I am trying to tie it with quite small bits of wool, which is not ideal. You'd want much longer pieces of wool really to be able to properly tie it off. So there we go. See what I'm saying? It's the smaller the wool, the much harder this is going to be. So you really do, we will give you extra wool if you're doing this as a kit, or if you're doing this completely yourself. Just use your ball of wool actually to stick these on, I would suggest. Okay, so let's just keep going with this. Okay, keep tying off your little weird alien monster things, which I'm sure, you know, the kids will enjoy having on their bedroom door. You know, I definitely wouldn't suggest this for under 3s, just because it's, you know, small parts. But, you know, kid's bedroom, a slightly older kid, they'll quite enjoy this. So last one, tie it off. And finally, my offcuts are getting smaller and smaller, so that is making it more difficult. So definitely use your ball of wool here. Okay. Okay, so that's all our monsters tied on. If you were using a ball of wool to do this, use a lot longer pieces. And like we tied it off with the original Poms, tie your monsters together as well. I've not got long enough ends to do that, so I'm just going to chop them off. But ideally, you would use longer pieces of wool and you can tie them together. Okay, so that is our monstery so far, our monster bedroom door. So I'd say the next thing we're going to do now is put our writing on there using our glue gun. Okay, so I've gone for I'm going to put on this do not disturb, and then the name of the person, bedroom, you know, so the kid's bedroom name, and then I'm going to put and monster. So do not disturb, name and monster. Okay. Obviously, you're going to need to know that you've got enough room to get round here. So I'm just going to place all my letters on, and then I'm going to take them off one at a time and stick them back on. Okay, so far we've got do not, and then disturb, obviously the letters that I've chosen because they were a brightly coloured pack, but unfortunately that does mean that each letter is a specific colour. So actually you'll notice on here that the do not disturb part is all actually blue and red until you get right to the end. But there are packs you can get where the colours would change a bit more. Right, so we've got do not disturb. And then we're going to put name and monster here. So I'm going to start with monsters, because I want to make sure there is a gap between monster and disturb. So monsters. I'm going with plural in case your kids have got more than one monster hiding under the bed. You know, there might be one in the cupboard, one under the bed. Okay, and monsters. So I am actually running out of room here for a big name, so what I might do is just move monsters down and then put my name here. So name. This is why I would really suggest, no matter if you've done it before and you know how long your name is, make sure you put it on, try it again, because you never know, you might run out of room. Okay, and you don't want to run out of room, really. Okay, so we've now got, you can't see that very well I'm afraid, but do not disturb, name and monster. Once it's all glued on, obviously I will then pick it up and show you. Okay, but for now I'm just going to get it all stuck on. So tricky bit really, bit of glue on the letter, or you can actually just put the glue onto the wall. It depends on how accurate you think you might be and whether or not you think you might burn yourself. Okay, so you're just gonna, this is where I would press down with your scissors, or whatever else you've got to hand really. So again, so we're gonna go with ow, see, burn yourself, that's what I mean. So putting the O on there. It does attach quite quick to the wall, it can be quite unforgiving, so if that does happen and it's not where you want it, pull it off. You might have to cut the ends of the wall so that there's no glue showing. But you can, yeah, you can pull it back off. It's just not the easiest. I've just dropped my letter N. So, you know, there we are. So, as I said, letters are probably one of the more fiddly things that you've got to stick with glue, because there isn't much room to handle it after you've put the glue on it. Okay, so this is going to take me a while, so apologies if you want to just scroll ahead, because I'm not going to actually edit the video. I'm just going to put it on so that if someone wanted to make along, they could, which is why I'm going to do it in real time. So if you want to whiz ahead to where I've put the letters fully on, you aren't going to be missing anything crucial at this point. Okay, I'm just slowly and painfully going to stick the letters on. Hopefully not too painfully, because hopefully I'm not going to burn myself. Okay. You know, and whilst I'm doing this, I can just sort of say as well that, you know, if you were making this from scratch, or if you've got a kit from us, or however you're doing it, design your own even, from us, then you don't have to have a green monster. You know, your kids can have a monster in whatever colour they would wish. Their monster can have more than 2 eyes. You know, it would be a case of designing their monster. Okay, so it wouldn't need to have spots, it could have stripes, it could have whatever their monster would want to have, and that is the good thing behind it being design your own. Okay, so on the design your own, we will have this as a set design that you could use, and you'll be able to change the name, change the colour, whatever really. You know, have your aliens at the bottom, don't have your aliens at the bottom. You know, you get to kind of personalise it really. Okay, so obviously we're not going to stick on name, because you're going to put whoever's name on there. Okay, so in a minute I'm going to just find some tape to tape name on, but obviously you, or if we're making it for you, we would glue your actual name that you require on there. You just need to let us know what it was. So imagine this being, you know, Jack's room, or Jess's room, or whoever's room really. Okay, and as I said, we've put the name across the top here of the bottom row, so you could put quite a long name on there. I mean, it's not gonna, you might need to shorten really long names. But you know, and we have got other letters, and we've got smaller letters, so there are other options if you want to have a longer name on there. Again, I've got lots of spider lines from my glue gun. I'm just going to tidy those off at the end, really. Okay, so okay, right, so now we've got our name and monsters. As I said, I did say that I would just find some tape so that I can now lift this up and show you without having to glue name on, so that this could actually be used for somebody. I nearly forgot, I've actually glued the N on, but I will be able to get that back off. So yeah, so there's your tape. You really don't, you're not going to need to do this at all, so yeah, just actually get a nice long piece of tape actually, and I'm just going to loop it back over itself so that I can stick name into place. Now obviously we're going to see the tape behind this. That's not what we want, that's not what we're going to have. This won't be on the final one at all. It is just so that I can keep name in place. Okay, so this is not how yours is gonna end up looking at all. So here we go, look, so we've got all our letters. Oh, I haven't stuck the and on like I said I would, so I'll just stick the and on now. Okay. Ooh, it's very, when you swap hands with the glue gun letters, it can be a bit, you can end up catching yourself. So if we just get all the spidery bits of glue off, obviously we'd do that a bit more thoroughly before it came out to you. So look, there we've now got do not disturb, and then you would put your name here and the monsters. Okay, you could actually put the monsters, but we've just put monsters for now. So do not disturb, name and monsters. Could be anything, Jake, Jill, Jess, any of them really. Okay, so now our monster needs a bit more attention, so we're going to give him her some spots using the buttons. We could also give our monster teeth, we could give our monster a giant nose, we could basically do whatever we really fancy doing. So I'm just thinking what colour nose we could give this fellow. I'm thinking maybe a light green nose. We could go with a light green nose underneath his massive eyes, or we could go for a completely different colour. You know, a great big orange nose in there. I mean, that's quite, you know, orange nose. Or whatever really, you can literally choose whatever nose you wanted. Purple. I think I'm gonna leave the nose off for now, and I'm gonna give our monster lots of spots. Okay. So again, it's going to be using your glue gun, and the buttons are actually quite small, so I'd suggest putting the blob of glue on the actual wall, then putting your buttons on. Obviously, if you've got little ones in the house, please, you know, put these into a dish or onto a plate before you start doing this, because you do not want these going on the floor so that your little ones could accidentally pick them up. Okay, so we're just going to decide really where we want to use our buttons as our spots. Okay, I'm just going to choose randomly basically. I've got some bigger ones, I've got lots of little small ones, so it's basically going to look like it's had chicken pox. But yeah, so just obviously you're going to need to keep turning it round so that you can put these on. Like I said, you don't want to burn yourself, so I would suggest putting the glue onto the actual wall, putting on your little button, and if you want to make sure it's in place, give it a poke with either scissors or whatever you've got to hand, really. Okay, we've got plenty of buttons, so we don't need to be particularly stingy. I've got a massive blue one there, so I'm going to put this massive one over on the other side of the wreath, like that. Just going to stick it there. You know, of course, be conscious, these are buttons, so they have got holes in the middle, and that does mean that when you put the glue on, the glue will come through. Okay, so do not forget that, because you will burn yourself, and you can burn yourself quite badly on a glue gun. So yeah, so we've got lots of different colours that we're using on this, you know, so just keep going. I'm going to put all of the big buttons on first, because I think if I know where the big buttons are, I can then choose where I'm going to put my little buttons. Okay, so just keep working your way around. Obviously, if you're using a mini glue gun, you are going to run out of glue really quite often, so you can get larger sticks for a mini glue gun, so that could be an option if you can't get a big glue gun, or you just don't have space to store a big glue gun. I'm tipping out the entire jar of buttons. If you added these to your creation, it would include the entire pot. Obviously, you can say I want more, I want less, but as a standard, it would include all of the pot. Just because then you've got a full range on there then, and we're not being stingy. Oops, there we go. See, caught yourself with the glue gun. And we're not being stingy with the glue then if we do it that way. So just keep putting on your buttons. I would not recommend this if it's for anyone under the age of 15 doing it, really, because you know, you could and probably will catch yourself a couple of times with a glue gun, because these buttons are quite small, and I'm actually putting on the really big buttons right now, so you know, you are potentially going to catch yourself quite a bit. As I said, I'm putting on the big buttons now, so I'm trying to decide, you know, where they can go, and then I'm going to put on some smaller buttons as well. Okay, we've been going now for already 40 minutes, nearly 45 minutes, so this isn't a quick make. I quite like the idea actually of putting a button in the middle of my O, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a button there on top of the O that I've already stuck on, and I'm gonna do that again with all of my O's, just to keep it consistent, and this way we can add a bit of colour to all of that blue and red, because we couldn't have different colours. Even if this is for a boy, I'm not going to be afraid of using pink. You know, little bit of pink, it really does help make it stand out, really. So yeah, so don't be afraid of using pink, but if your little man's gonna really revoke to that, then obviously if we're making it, just let us know that we're not to use pink. Or again, if it's for a girl and they really would like a completely pink monster, that's fine, just tell us. Okay, so again, keep sticking our buttons on as we go round. Okay, remembering not to catch your fingers. So I've pretty much used all of the bigger buttons now, so I'm going to hold it up for you in a second and just show you how far we've got. Okay, I've got a couple more, so I'll just keep going a second, and then I will, as I said, lift it up and show you. Okay, so, right, these are all really like big buttons on there now. So, as I said, he's becoming quite spotty. Okay, again, your name really is going to sit better on there. Okay, so yeah, it's looking a bit mad. I think once we've got some different colour, smaller, different size buttons on there, it's going to really add to it. So obviously you need to have a think about what monster face you're after as well, because we can put teeth on here, we can put a big nose on here like I showed you before. You know, we can stick buttons all over its face. We can put 3 eyes on rather than 2. I mean, it really is going to be down to your imaginations. Okay, so let's get... Now, this is where you really need to make sure you're not going to glue your fingers to it. Okay, so I'm just going to choose buttons that are a different colour to the one going next to it. Okay. You know, we really have got some tiny, tiny buttons here, so just be very careful if you're doing this as a make-it-home kit, because you really might catch your fingers on this. Okay, I quite like putting these on like in groups of 2, 3. You can even have them so that they're actually touching the other spots. You know, that adds a little bit of a, you know, sort of different look. So just keep adding what you fancy. Obviously we're doing buttons on this monster, but you could do stripes. You literally could choose whatever you fancied, really. Okay. Not the easiest thing to keep turning around, but yeah, you'll... Like I said, I'm doing sort of groups of 2s and 3s. I tend to think that looks quite good when you're sticking extra bits on. To kind of group them a little bit, but you can very much just, you know, let us know if you'd want it differently. Because you can have them more like chicken pox just all over. We can do whatever you want, really. Okay, so... and again, not being afraid of using pink or blue if it's for a boy or a girl. I am a big fan of using whatever colour for whoever. Okay. But your little one might not be, so just, you know, have a think about what they would like. Okay, as I said, now we're getting more on there. It's starting to look a bit more like it's caught the chicken pox, which is our aim, what we're after. On this particular wreath, we're not going to say that all our wreaths have chicken pox. It's just our monster has chicken pox. Okay, so again, that one's going to actually be touching the one next to it, which is, you know, just bit different, makes it a bit different. I'm also going to put a couple just randomly between our groupings, just so that it, you know, it adds something more there. Okay, so another yellow one. As you can see, I'm actually letting quite a few of these just drop on because of the glue gun and it being quite such a burn risk, you know. So I've got another big green one there, so I'm just going to put that right up next to that T. Okay. And I found another big pink one which I'm going to put under here. So I'm very much just putting them on at random again now. I'm just working my way around the wreath really, so that I do end up with them everywhere. Okay, I'm mostly focusing on the outside at the moment, but I am going to include a few more buttons on the inside as well. There we are, see, you just don't want to catch your fingers. Okay. Oops. Again, get your scissors or whatever it is you're using. That can help you to put them back into place where you wanted them in the first place, because they might just randomly slide off. Okay. I've changed my mind. I'm actually going to just properly glue gun on my name, just so that it looks right, because at the moment it's not. Now, if this was bought by someone, it wouldn't be a problem. You would just pull, I would just pull up and snip off this name and put on their name. So it wouldn't be a problem at all. And as I said, it's annoying me with the sellotape, so we're just gonna get rid of that, and we're just gonna stick them on properly. Again, your glue's going everywhere, but it really is okay, because you can have a look properly later, see where your glue lines are, and you can go from there. Okay, so just our little O for our monster has slipped slightly, so I'm just gonna make sure it's attached between both the pom-poms, because it's slipped down inside the pom-pom basically. Okay, so show you where we're at currently. Okay, so it's crazy basically, but that's the intention. It's a monster. It's a monster. He's covered in buttons. He's got googly eyes. He's got bits sticking off him. He's, you know, he's for your kids really. I mean, you can literally design any monster that you fancy. So right, we've got that far. And I do think he needs more. Oops, I'm finding it difficult with this camera. More in the middle now. We need more going on here. I think I'm gonna give him a third eye, because there really is no reason why he only has to have two. Okay, so I'm thinking I might put his third eye in the middle there. I'm gonna go with at the top actually. At the top in the middle. I'm going to add his third eye. Okay. And then, you know, I'm sort of designing it on the fly really. So we've got a three-eyed monster in there. I think he probably needs a mouth and some teeth to really make it, you know, to really start to make him look like a monster. So, and I'm actually going to just properly glue gun on my name, just so that it looks right, because at the moment it's not. Now, if this was bought by someone, it wouldn't be a problem. You would just pull, I would just pull up and snip off this name and put on their name. So it wouldn't be a problem at all. And as I said, it's annoying me with the sellotape, so we're just gonna get rid of that. And we're just going to stick them on properly. Again, your glue's going everywhere, but it really is okay, because you can have a look properly later, see where your glue lines are, and you can go from there. Okay, so just our little O for our monster has slipped slightly, so I'm just gonna make sure it's attached between both the pom-poms, because it's slipped down inside the pom-pom basically. Okay, so show you where we're at currently. Okay, so it's crazy basically, but that's the intention. It's a monster. It's a monster. He's covered in buttons. He's got googly eyes. He's got bits sticking off him. He's, you know, he's for your kids really. I mean, you can literally design any monster that you fancy. So right, we've got that far, and I do think he needs more. Oops, I'm finding it difficult with this camera. More in the middle now. We need more going on here. I think I'm gonna give him a third eye, because there really is no reason why he only has to have two. Okay, so I'm thinking I might put his third eye in the middle there. I'm going to go with at the top actually. At the top in the middle. I'm going to add his third eye. Okay. And then, you know, I'm sort of designing it on the fly really. So we've got a three-eyed monster in there. I think he probably needs a mouth and some teeth to really make it, you know, to really start to make him look like him ugly. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to go with this. To make it easier for me, I'm just literally going to cut my teeth in one big line so that I don't have to stick on individual teeth here. Okay, so I'm going to go with, should we go with goofy teeth or should we go with pointy teeth? I think we'll go with pointy teeth, just because. Obviously, you're not going to cut all the way through here, so you want to make sure that your teeth kind of stay together so that you're not having to stick them on individually. Okay, I'm going to try and get 5 on here, but we'll see if that works. Okay. Yeah, that works. So I've got my teeth there, and I'm going to just have a look and see where they are going to best go on there really. So I'd like to try and stick them on so that they stick out really, and then I'm going to give him a mouth on top of that. So how does it look? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to stick them on, and then I'm going to give it a lip so that it looks like it really does have teeth. Okay. I'm going to just bend these slightly. Okay, I'm gonna stick it straight on here. You can stick it onto the plate first, put the glue straight on the plate, and then go from there. It's gonna be however you want to go for it, really. Okay, so and there we are, catching myself again with the glue gun. So there we are, he's got his sparkly teeth in there now. Okay, and I'm just going to add I'm going to use another green plate, and I'm just going to add a mouth. I'm going to add a mouth onto there. So I'm going to use another half of the plate. Okay. And I'm going to cut this part off. So what I've actually got there is that lip. So I'm going to cut away the semicircle. Don't forget, you're putting green onto green, so it doesn't matter if this isn't the neatest job. Obviously, we'll do our best to make it for you, but if it isn't, if you're doing this yourself at home, it doesn't have to be the neatest of jobs. Okay. Alright, so there it is. And then we're going to just put it in, poke it up under our pom-poms. You're not going to need the full length, so I'm just going to cut it off by there to make it easier to poke through. So yeah, you're just tucking it under your pom-poms. Okay. Now when you stick this on, you want it to stick nice and flush, okay? So what I would suggest is you keep it in place just so that you don't lose the spacing again. All right, remember where you're going to put it. And then put your glue directly onto your plate, so it's just going slightly higher than where it's currently sat. Okay, so then lifting it up and then placing it on and pressing it down, because you want it to go really flush. Okay, it's going to be a little warm through the cardboard, so if you don't want to feel that warmth, make sure you've pressed it down with scissors or something else. Right, okay, now there he is. There's his sparkly teeth and his eyes. Okay, he could have a little nose there. He can have really whatever you want to go on there. So I'm going to give him I think I'm going to give him a little nose, but I'm actually going to use a small pom for this. So I've got a little tiny green pom there, and I'm just going to give him a pom-pom nose. Now, you don't need all this string when you're just gluing them straight to the plate, so we're just going to chop that off there. Okay, and then I'm going to put my glue straight where I want his nose to go, which is right there in the middle. Okay, and I'm just going to stick on my pom. Okay, so there he is, pom-pom nose, glittery teeth, three eyes, spots all over. Okay, some of the buttons need to be stuck down a little bit better, because don't forget you're sticking them to strings of wool, and they might move again because you've stuck it to one bit of string and not another bit of string. So yeah, so this is our monster. So we've got do not disturb, name and monsters. So Jill, Joe, Jack and monsters. And that's going to be for their bedroom door. Okay, so as you can see, the weight of this is pulling it down ever so slightly. So what we want to make sure we're going to do now is that all our poms stay where we want them to stay. Okay, so all I'm going to do to make sure that happens is between each pom we've not attached anything yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to just part the poms ever so slightly. We're going to throw a bit of glue down the seam, and then we're going to just gently push them together. Okay, making sure that you're writing as to where you want it to be. Okay, I've started on the D and I'll carry on round. Okay, as I said, you're gonna want to double check that everything is well stuck down, because you're sticking them to bits of wool on a pom-pom, so it's not necessarily, it's not going to stay in the same place that you put it. So right, as I said, right, next we're going to go for our next pom. You've probably got a bit that's already gluing this together, so just drop a bit of glue between them and then just push them together. Okay, we're just going to want to put a bit of glue under that one, because then we can get it to come a little bit further up. Okay, again, part it slightly, drop your glue in between and then push it together. Okay, because of course as you keep going round it's going to pull it all into place. You can do this before you put any embellishments on, but I'm doing it after deliberately because I want to make sure that my writing gets pulled back together to where it needs to be. Okay, so we're just working our way around, trying to not disturb anything. If you've got a letter that goes straight across it, you've probably got enough glue between them, but it doesn't hurt to squeeze a bit in. Just push them again. Make sure you don't burn yourself by accidentally reaching between the thing. As I said, we don't, as a standard on our wreaths, we don't normally use this much glue, but for this particular project, you're going to be using glue anyway, because you're going to be making your monsters as interesting as you can by adding embellishments and just really going to town on it, to be honest, because you can have fun with this. You can have fun with this design, because you really can just, create whatever you think your kiddies would appreciate, really. So, okay, so again, we're just going to put a little glue there, a little bit of glue there on the end and bring those together. Okay. You know, glue gunning isn't that neat. If you've really made a mess, then you can literally just snip off the wool and that'll get rid of the mess that you've actually made. But yeah, otherwise I wouldn't worry too much, really. You can tidy it up afterwards. Okay, so right, this is the point that we are now at. So we got teeth, nose, eyes, we've got buttons everywhere, we've got things they can pull. It's properly crazy. Okay. Right, once your glue is cold again, if there really is some offensive bits, like I said, you can just tease them out of the wool. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too long messing with it, really, because it'll take too much of your time on your video, and we're already up to an hour. So this has taken quite a while, this one. But yeah, so that's basically, if you've seen any of the other videos, then I have said that I don't trim the poms before I put them onto my creations, which is true. I trim them afterwards, because if there's anything really offensive, you can just cut it off. If you leave them untrimmed whilst you put them together, all of the extra bits kind of fill it out, so it's better, really. Okay, I can't find my little scissors right now. I've displaced them somewhere, so I'll try and cut those bits off in a minute. So now we've got this far, you could, in theory, just put a hook on the back. However, what we're going to do, as we do it with most of our wreaths actually, is use some wool of the same colour to put a hanging loop on this. So I'm just going to find the correct colour, because I did not do this before. So, here we go. So I've got my correct colour here. Oh, I've found my little scissors. They must have fallen. There we go. Okay, so this is the ball of wool I was talking about earlier that you could have used to tie on your aliens. So, you know, pays to get it out straight away. So what we're going to do, piece of wool, we're going to just literally loop it. I tend to do about 8 loops, okay? Just keeping hold of the ends. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let your ball of wool just fall to the floor because it's easier. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's your ready for your hanging. So you're going to just cut it there. Okay, then you're going to loop it, which gives you this loop here, and you're going to hold that bit at the bottom tight. Okay, this is the tricky bit now, because now you need to find the middle point so that it hangs straight, but also you've put a plate in the way. So you might find that you've put glue where you want to put your handle. So all you need to do is tease your wool back under your plate, okay? And then again, just those same simple knots that we've been using, okay? So just literally going to tie it and allow the whole of the loop to come through and tie it. And I would let this go pretty tight down here, okay? And then do it again, and again, let your loop that's going to stick out the top, let that come through. Pull that all the way. Oh, I've let go. Let's try that again. Yeah, so let your loop come through there. Pull your ends down and your loop up. Okay. Okay, now there now is your tying loop. Not your tying loop, sorry. This is where you're going to hang it from, so it's your hanging loop. Okay. just trying to find all of the correct fonds again there now. So now you've got this big knot. If you were just doing a wreath, this is where you would tie it down. We're not going to tie it down because we're not doing one of our usual wreaths. So we're going to just get our glue gun and we're just going to use the plate to our advantage. And we're just going to slot some glue down under there. Okay, and then we're going to use scissors or whatever you have been using to really poke that knot down into and hide it amongst our pom-poms. Okay, so not how we would normally do it, but you've used so much glue on this project already that you might as well carry on at this point. Yeah, so obviously you'll notice that I have lost where it hangs from neatly. So to make sure that doesn't happen, you can get your ball of wool and you can just tie off another piece of wool. So let's cut that by there. So you can tie off another piece of wool. Okay, again, two knots. Leave it long is what I'd say, because if you cut this short now, you're going to get two spiky bits. And then just take those down to the bottom of your hanging thing. Okay, and just tuck them in. Normally we could glue the no, we wouldn't normally glue them. Normally we would just tie them back in, but what we're gonna, I've used so much glue that we're just gonna keep using glue. So yeah, I'm just poking a little bit of glue in there, and again on the same on the other side, and then you won't even know that the ends existed. Okay. Because they're going to be fully tucked in on the inside of this wreath. Like when you're tucking the bits in, either use the scissors or wait till your glue's cooled, because otherwise you will burn yourself. Okay, so that is now our hanging hook for our monster. Okay, so I'm going to go and take this over to the hook that we have on our door. It's a lot higher than you would hang a kid's one, so you might not be able to see its teeth properly, but I'll still take it over and see what we can see. This pom here, I don't think it's hanging in quite the right place, so I'm just going to see if I can fix that. Oh, there we go. See, burnt myself again. You know what that was? That was the hanging hook, because I put so much glue on it to make sure it wouldn't move. Right, I'm gonna attach that to the copper if I can. Okay, without burning myself, preferably. Okay, so yeah, I'll just attach that onto the copper because it's hanging down a bit, and I think it's just the weight of the buttons, really. Okay, I'm gonna go and hang this up, then I will bring you over to have a look at it's hanging on the door. Right, this is the shaky camera moment, okay, where I bring you across to have a look. I'm just going to unplug the glue guns so we don't disturb anything. Right, okay, here we go, shaky camera moment. Okay, so here we have our finished monster. Now this would be hung a lot lower, obviously, on a kid's door. So we've got his teeth, his nose, his 3 eyes, which you're going to just see, okay, and our little monsters, which we can still have a pull at. I would suggest if you are letting your little ones pull at it, make sure you've got a proper hook up there. We've just used a stick it on hook It's fairly strong, to be honest. Okay, so that is our do not disturb such and such's room monster. Right, so that, there it is hanging behind me, you can just see it on the door. Okay, so that is our second video for Pompom Ohmm. We're hoping to do a week of these just to really start us off, because we are brand new. So hopefully join us again tomorrow for another random pom making session. Okay, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye now.